All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, no matter where you're logging in from, ladies and gentlemen. We're live streaming here in the Zoom room, and people are logging in and typing where they're watching us from as we speak. And we are on YouTube and social media. With that in mind, we've got a 30-second timer, which is your opportunity to check who's live with you right now. And if your team's not here, give them a quick buzz and get them on in the next 60 seconds. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, if you've just joined us, please type in where you're watching us from. We're live streaming into 74 different countries. And with that in mind, some people don't speak fluent English. So we're just going to play a little audio for you, which talks about closed captions, which you can read along with in Zoom right now, as well as on YouTube.
Por favor, vaya a la parte inferior de la pantalla en Zoom o YouTube y haga clic en subtítulos para leer en español.
Kérlek, menjünk képernyő aljára, a Zoomon vagy a YouTube-on, a Closed Caption részre, és ott el tudod olvasni magyarul a feliratot.
Silakan klik di layar bawah pada Zoom atau YouTube dan klik caption untuk membaca dalam bahasa Indonesia.
Pour les sous-titres en français, veuillez cliquer au bas de votre écran Zoom ou YouTube sur CC ou Closed Captions.
Zoom または YouTube の画面の下部に移動し、字幕をクリックして日本語で読んでください。
請到屏幕底部點閱隱藏字幕以閱讀中文。
Παρακαλώ πηγαίνετε στο κάτω μέρος της οθόνης, στο Zoom ή στο YouTube και κάντε κλικ στους υπότιτλους για να τα διαβάσετε στα ελληνικά.
請到屏幕底部點擊隱藏字幕以閱讀中文.
אנא עברו לתחתית המסך בזום וביוטיוב ולחצו על תרגום לכתוביות בעברית.
Proszę zejść na dół ekranu na Zoomie lub YouTubie i kliknąć napisy, żeby przeczytać po polsku.
Beautiful. So, welcome online, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Firth, one of the founding Field Advisory Board members and Crowns with the company, and it's my pleasure to help run these events each week. Now, with that in mind, we're looking for volunteers. So if you are one of our diamonds, have you started presenting yet? We would love to see you online, and we have the weekly presentation available for that every week. If you'd love to be an MC, we're looking for more faces, more MCs that would love to step up, particularly after what you're going to hear about Neumi Week, but that's another story. Today, we have people on from Indonesia, Western Australia, we have Louisiana, Canada, we have New Zealand and reigning, Oklahoma, Perth, Western Australia, Las Vegas, and the Caribbean or the Caribbean, depending on which way you speak. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce our speakers today. Today we have a session which is going to be perfect for you, driving your knowledge about what we have in our hands much deeper. And glutathione is a word I'd never heard of 17 years ago. But once you get to understand what it is, then you'll be blown away what you actually have in your hands with our delivery method that goes along with it. So our speakers today are two individuals. One of them is Dr. Michele, who is actually a PhD in nutritional research. She's also something else that I couldn't pronounce, so I'll leave that for her to announce that one. Couldn't get the word into my mouth. And the other beautiful person speaking today is Juanita Santillan. And Juanita is one of our amazing leaders around the world, also pioneered Mexico, and she happens to be my Spanish dancing coach from back on the Diamond Retreat. So with that in mind, I'm going to hand the call to them.
Thank you so much, Michael. We are honored to be here with you. Michele and I have been friends for, gosh, probably over 30 years. Met her at my office when I had a clinic here in Chicago, a wellness clinic. And so, Michele, thank you for being with us. And we usually do our presentations together and love to be here together to capture each other's energy. So thank you all. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with a wonderful topic, skin, healthy skin. And when you look at both of us, we won't tell you our age today, but as we usually travel around speaking on wellness, and people say, whisper in my ear, well, about how old are you? And then they say, like in your 50s or something. And I mean, I know they tell Michele also, and of course, natural hair. And when I tell them my age, they're like, they're falling off the chair. So this is our secret. And you're going to listen to the secret because we practice what we preach. And so glutathione is definitely one of our secrets. So when I found out about glutathione, I immediately called Dr. Michele. Dr. Michele, you've got to see this. Because then she's wondering, why am I looking nicer and all of this? So she wanted the secret. So here it is, Michele. First of all, yes, glowing skin is what we all want. But for most of you, you're wondering, well, that's kind of hard to get. And of course, we're going to cover just briefly the layers, but skin is the largest organ, Michele. And yes, you're going to be able to see what happens. And as a young girl, I was always hanging out at the beach as a teenager because I wanted to have a beautiful tan. And of course you have the natural tan. And so the skin has those various layers that we're just going to go over briefly. The epidermis, which of course is the outer layer, which is the protection. And so it's what protects us from the sun and everything else that Michele is going to talk to us. And of course, the dermis is the layer that is thicker with that support for our skin. And of course, the dermis contains all the blood vessels, the nerves, the sweat glands, collagen, elastin. And of course, hypodermis is the deepest layer composed of all these connective tissues and all of that. Now, this is my grandson 2 years ago. And of course, we all want that baby skin. But of course, unless you are listening to us tonight, you could also have that baby skin for a longer period of time. And if you're saying, well, I'm already in my 60s, is there any hope? There is. So let's take a look. The skin, of course, is going to protect you. Also great as we're sweating, cooling. It's a temperature in the body. And of course, we want the regulation, the homeostasis. And here's where Dr. Michelle's favorite, the toxins, because she's looking under the microscope. So tell us that word that Michael couldn't say.
I'm a microscopist.
Okay.
And that's a person that looks in the microscope at blood samples, at all types of things that you can observe. We don't really talk about disease, but we do observe all of the little life forms that you can't see with your eyes. And you'd be so shocked as to how much pollution and how many things are sitting on the outer layer of our skin. And when we don't use the proper cleansing products and even the water that you take a shower in, all of that keeps it in where we want to let things flow out of you. So if you're introduced to all of these toxins externally, internally is where they stay unless you have our wonderful glutathione.
That is just an awesome picture.
Yes, I love it. Reggie found that.
So we're not going to stick the tongue out because yes, there is bacteria and all of the above. It's amazing. And of course, we find it on the skin, Dr. Michele.
Yeah, they call those liver spots. It's a little bit more than that, but unfortunately, our liver is under attack every second that we are alive. And it can only process so much. So when we eat a lot of fats and a lot of products that just get stuck in our system, and when we suffocate our skin, then this is the result. And this is a little bit of sun, but it's more from the inside.
And people want the magic lotion, Michele. And does that work for them usually?
Not the magic lotions because they use the wrong ingredients. They use ingredients that are inferior and they don't support the skin. They don't allow the toxins to come out and they keep the nutrients, if you're introduced to any nutrients, from going in. I mean, go figure.
Wow. And so we have the wonderful glutathione.
Yes.
I talked to you, it's been almost 2 years now, Michele. Of course, it's the oxygen's key component, slows the aging process. So when we found out about it, we wanted to share it with the world, especially skin. Skin, because for women, we look in the mirror and we're never satisfied, and we're always like, oh, there's little, this little pimple here or this white spot, or I mean, we have all kinds of spots, especially after bathing, and we look in the mirror and they're like, oh my goodness. So thanks to glutathione, but talking about the shower, Michele.
Yeah, it's most unfortunate, especially in this country. They use chemicals for some good, and that's to help keep the bacteria kind of at bay. However, there's a side effect of that. You've used chlorine bleach before, right?
Back in the old days, I used to.
Okay, but I don't mean on your skin.
No, not on the skin. It's a spray
But
to
you
put on clothes. Yeah.
Right. So you have a nice red blouse on, right?
Right.
So what will happen if
Oh
you got
gosh, it would
Clorox?
discolor it.
Right.
Which happened many times. You put it in, there was something dark in the clothes, and then what?
Yes.
Yes.
So what it does, it strips the life out of everything that it touches. The longer the chlorine is exposed to whatever surface it is, the more it's going to eat away at whatever it's touching. So unfortunately, our skin, it's not everlasting without us doing good things. So in other words, if you're continually using chlorine, it's continually breaking through. We have an acid mantle, and that acid mantle is what protects us from the external impacting and going inside our internal. But the chlorine takes away all of that.
Wow. Well, at another point, you can give us the solution for the shower heads. But today, tell us about some of these ingredients. I know my daughter and I, usually when we go shopping, we already know what are these chemicals and toxins in our creams and lotions.
Well, first of all, the key is the more ingredients it has on the back, you probably don't want to use it.
Especially if you don't know the names of them.
Hello. So some of the more prominent ones have mineral oil and petroleum or petrolatum. And unfortunately, there's a side effect in when you use those. You like the shine and all of this other stuff, but you're getting that shine because you're literally putting plastic on top of your face. Okay, and you're preventing the nutrients that you think you're spending from, XYZ designer company. You're packing that on, and it's really not getting in through your pores. And that's the biggest problem. Mineral oil and petroleum, they have huge molecular structures. So it's a lot of fat. Fat stays on top and it clogs. We have sebaceous glands. The younger you are, you're probably pumping more oil temporarily. So you're putting oil on and you're pumping more oil. Boy, what kind of stuff does that mix? Okay.
So someone who has a little situation with eczema or we used to call them the pimples, right?
Yes.
And that's probably to do with many things.
Many things. Unfortunately, many of the soaps are like a lye base. Did you hear me? Lye?
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
And they allow it?
Yes. And lye burns. It seals skin back on. You don't want your dead skin being sealed on. You want everything to come out. And that's the problem with eczema. Eczema, you have dead skin piled one above the other instead of it coming and going away. So therefore, if you are using something with nutrients, it's not going to get in there. And then exponentially, it's overproducing skin cells. So everything is out of balance. We use the word homeostasis a lot.
Yes.
Well, when you use natural ingredients, your body starts returning into a balance. But right now, it's totally imbalanced when you have psoriasis and all of these other conditions.
And psoriasis is really out there with so many people suffering from it. Not only the adults, but sometimes even the children.
Yeah, you know, even with newborn babies, you see some horrible skin conditions.
Yes.
And the problem is it's not just external. People are making the assumption that it's just dermatological or just on the surface. All of this comes from the inside.
And that's what we're going to learn today.
Yes.
So take a note. This picture of this lovely lady. Unfortunately, we will all age, but hopefully gracefully.
Yes.
And we, you know, I see pictures of some women who are in their 70s and 80s, and, you know, they don't have even a wrinkle, but they know the secrets.
They know the secrets, but you know, this looks like either American Indian or Latino type lady, and the skin has a little bit more protection because of the natural melanin production. But guess what? Not everybody has that protection. So if you don't have that protection, what can you do to get protection? But in the meantime, even she is going to show some darker spots and bumps and pimples and things like that, if in fact her body is overproducing bad things and underproducing good things. And see, water is the key. If you don't, hand me that glass, please. I'm not going to drink out of it.
Here's the water that Juanita has in a
If
nice
you
glass.
do not drink this constantly, and preferably a cleaner source, an alkaline source, like Juanita usually drinks,
Mhm.
or putting clean sources of water. It doesn't have to be totally alkaline because we need a little bit of acid on our skin to protect our acid mantle. You're not going to have the protection that your skin needs. You've seen skin tags and moles and all those. Believe it or not, those are all impurities that are made out of larger molecular structures. It's all of the toxins that's been collected in your system trying to come out.
And so nanoglutathione is one of our secrets.
Yes, one of the main secrets. I mean, come on. How would you like to be in front of a wonderful, delectable buffet of food, and you went through dental surgery and they wired the mouth shut?
That'd be difficult.
So you can shove all the food you want up to your mouth, but it's not going to get in. So what good is it going to do?
And so we'll cover a little bit of the technology, but what I want to cover here is actually Jimmy Goodman. He wrote an excellent book that is my favorite, and I usually carry that book with The Complete Guide to Glutathione, and he talks about IDEA. So if you want to remember four benefits of glutathione, it's I for immune system. D is detoxify the liver and many of your organs. E is for energy, energy for your body, physical, but also for your cells. And A is the master antioxidant. So remember that. And one thing that I want to tell you is the disclaimer is we are not saying that our glutathione or our Neumi are treating or diagnosing. It is only a supplement which you can take, and you know, you may have good results from it.
Yeah, and furthermore, not only taking it, our body is supposed to naturally produce glutathione, but when we're young, we have a whole bunch of good stuff in us. But as we age, we lose the capability to produce it ourselves. So if we're not producing it, our body, our skin is going to reflect that. So this is our magic bullet, if you will, that when you expose yourself to our formulations, you have a much better chance of capturing the hydration, the natural ability to produce collagen, all of those things that have decreased in your body over the years.
Yes, so nanotechnology is the secret.
Yes.
And that's why I fell in love with Neumi, because of their technology, innovative technology. So they take a molecule, glutathione, they convert it in a very, very tiny, tiny molecule, wrap it around ultra pure water so that it could go and penetrate right into the cell. That is amazing. And here is what you were talking about, Dr. Michele.
Exactly. The challenge is every breath you take. Okay. And when you go outside, you're going to be introduced to the car pollution and all of that. So those are considered heavy metals. And the heavy metals literally are heavy. I'm from New York, and I used to ride the train in Manhattan. Of course, I would start off the day going to work, clean face, clean makeup. By the time I got off of that train, and because I am fair complected, if I touched my skin, you would see a lighter streak, and this part was black soot.
Wow, that's
Just from a 40-minute train ride in the city. So that's just a little indication as to what we are breathing in constantly, what our eyes are exposed to. So every open orifice that we have is impacted by any type of metal in the air and, of course, in the food and what we drink.
Now, our body produces glutathione, but after age 20, it'll decrease and the oxidative stress goes up. So they meet somewhere in the middle, around in their 50s, with a decreased glutathione.
So guess what? You mentioned an age about 50. There are clients and patients that I've worked with that at a very early age, they start looking more mature, I'll say.
Wow.
And what that comes along with for females, their periods are
Hormonal imbalances.
Exactly. They're supposed to go through that in their 50s or 60s. I have had clients 20 and 30 years ago starting to go through menopause in their mid-20s. But that's because of these heavy metals and everything that's settling in. And if they had glutathione to help their liver to do what it's supposed to do, and not just ours, it's glutathione from inwardly. But if you have a great supplement like we have, that's
the very best. And of course, it's called the Hydroset nanotechnology. Well, here it is, our beautiful product, NutraSwish. And the first time I took it, I actually did take a picture of the before. And now, 3 years later, when I look at that picture, I was like, wow, the skin is dull. The hair, very, very small amount of hair. My hair was falling. And so I noticed the difference. I actually look younger today than 3 years ago. That's amazing.
Yes, yes. But see, the thing is, you kind of cheated. You've been in nutrition for a number of years, and for you to complain about anything, it's unfair to the natural audience. But that's a beautiful testimony to say that you've even noticed a difference by adding this to your regimen.
Yes, and so we ask everyone listening to go ahead and try it, recommend it to everyone you know. And yes, we talked about the toxins already and the skin regeneration, and it'll improve your skin. But remember, we are not claiming that it'll treat or diagnose. And our beautiful, wonderful, wow, I just love this product. I love them both.
It's hard not to. I want to share that little testimony when I did my first vendor show with you.
Yes, go ahead.
So this is in the middle of winter, and it was at your alma mater where you was a nutritional professor at, and they have this annual at that time show where all of these products from a lot of the graduates, they would bring in. So there was a lady walking down the aisle. She hadn't seen our booth yet, but she was walking a little bit more slowly, and then she took off her jacket, and then she's taking off her sweater, and then I'm noticing perspiration, and then she almost looked like she was going to pass out in front of us. So Juanita goes like, hey, here, let's help cool you off. And so she took the Neumi skin spray, and again with the intent of just helping to cool her off.
Yes.
And then within like a few seconds, she's blinking, she's looking around like that. I said, oh my God, she's gonna faint or something. I didn't know what was going on. She says, it's gone. It's gone. It stopped. And we're like, what are you talking about? What stopped? She says, I was having hot flashes. And when I go through my hot flashes, I know how much time that cycle is going to take. And she says, I had just started just a few paces ago. Wow. And now they're gone. And we're like, what do you mean they're gone? What could have possibly make them go? All she had was the Neumi skin spray.
Because we didn't have our other women's formulas. So I figured, hey, and yes, she was so happy. She was so happy with that product.
Yes.
Amazing.
And it's not like Neumi Skin says, oh, this is great for hot flashes or anything. It's just that our body recognizes what is real food, what is going to bring it back to its best state.
So the Neumi Skin with the fabulous ingredients, collagen. I mean, that's an ingredient that we've all used as a fountain of youth ingredient. And we want more of it. We want to take it internal. We want to put it external. And it's just a great ingredient.
It's a great ingredient for our product. It is not a great ingredient for what's on the market. You know why? Because here we go again.
It's not penetrating.
It's a big fat molecule. So collagen is generally from a cow. Okay. And how big does a cow grow?
Oh, they're huge.
And I think they're a little bit bigger than a human, right?
Yeah.
So don't you think our Heavenly Father had enough sense to make the ingredients or what makes up a cow bigger to sustain another cow that it may give birth to? But what about a human? We have no business trying to work with something that is so huge. So here you are taking cow cells
and putting them on. But thanks to Neumi, we can have it penetrate hyaluronic acid.
Yes, that's incredible.
We're going to see some of the testimonials of reducing pore size, lifting and firming, reducing the fine lines. I love that skin texture, brightens and even the tone. Let's take a look. Oops. And let's go. Well, we covered this already, but just briefly, you are what you eat. So eat healthy foods. Everything here is what Juanita's favorite is. And it's hopefully your favorite because these are some of the ingredients that also contain glutathione.
Yes.
But here's our very own Sherry. She looks younger every time I see her. And of course, she was one of the first people to use the Neumi Skin.
Gorgeous.
And the before and after. I know Steve Scott always talks about her and how everyone that looks and says, no, she must have had a facelift. She must have had a facelift. In 7 weeks? How is that possible? That's what our good nutrients do. And this woman in 4 weeks, I was with her in Mexico, and she says, what I want is youthful skin. I took a picture. She sends me her picture 4 weeks later with both product, internal and external. I could not believe it. Amazing. And this gentleman, even skin. This gentleman, look at the dark spots that he had. And in just a few weeks,
incredible
the turkey neck. And this was a facial party.
Why'd you say facial? Because it looks like she had a green disease.
No, this is a facial. We were experimenting with a green formula, and we put Neumi NutriSwish in the formula, and then we sprayed it. And after we took it off, wow, amazing. Next time we'll show the before and after.
Yes.
These are just amazing pictures in 4 weeks.
Totally. It's very, very difficult. This lady's of pure African descent. And in order for anything to penetrate to lighten her skin, see, her skin is naturally thicker and of course has more melanin in it. And for anything to be able to penetrate like that is miraculous.
It sure is. And so, of course, you do also have to do exercise so that you're sweating. That's very important. Like you said, drinking water, hydrating the body. That's super important. Sleep. most people are not sleeping well. Very important. I used to think, well, I'm not a baby anymore. I don't need 8 hours. But when I started doing my research and finding out what happens while people sleep,
it's incredible. That's the only time, believe it or not, that your body is restoring its ability to function at its best state. And hold up your arm for a second. You see, this little thing tells on her.
oh yeah, it tells me it'll
Right.
tell me the hours that I sleep. It'll
Right.
tell me how many steps I take.
Yes.
Fitbit, yes.
Yes. And you see, I don't have one on my arm.
Yet.
One of the companies that we deal with hasn't sent it to me yet. But I'm that's my biggest sin, is I'm up all night. And once I get my watch, it's gonna tell on me.
Yes,
So
yes. And you know, another thing that most people do not know are these saunas. Here in Chicago, there's a beautiful sauna. There's many different types of saunas, the King Spa Korean saunas, and we go there and we detox. And I usually take a picture before I enter, and I take a picture right after. And you should see. And of course, I cheat and I take my Nutri-Swish. I'm drinking it all day, and then I'm spraying every hour as I go in and out of the saunas.
yeah, the saunas can be very drying to the skin.
Yes,
Believe it
so
or
you
not.
need
the
to
type of-
hydrate.
Exactly.
Yes,
So this is the perfect combination.
but it helps. So in essence, again, we are not treating, diagnosing, but we know that our formulas and our Neumi NutriSwish and the Neumi Skin are the very best. Try it. And also do all the other things that we recommend. And in closing, Michele?
In closing, to me, it's a lifesaver. It doesn't just help the skin, it helps your entire body. I have people that when they started drinking the Swish, they started going to the bathroom more.
Releasing toxins.
Hello?
Yes.
So it's not just coming out through the skin, it comes out the other end too. That's part of the cleansing and rebuilding,
Through the sweating and
rejuvenating.
everything. Yes.
Absolutely. So that is so important to detoxify on every level with your everyday diet, and of course, using our supplements that are the best.
And now you all know our secrets, so you can look younger, 10 years younger. And thank you so much. We'll hand it back to Michael.
Beautiful. I absolutely loved the energy of you two bouncing off each other. I absolutely loved listening to that. And a lot of people typed in some really positive stuff online as well as here, which is great. So guys, as we wrap up, this is members night for the new people. This happens every single week, and we have a different person with different, maybe training, the road to 1-star sort of training, corporate updates. Next week will be corporate. I want to share something with you. Neumi Week is coming, and there's so many things there designed to blow your mind. And if you haven't seen this, if you're not visiting the Neumi page, you may not have seen this short video. I want to show you this before we wrap up in a promotion for Neumi Week, and then I want to set you a challenge. So let's have a quick look at this. Just give me 1 second.
Neumi's about to give you all that information you've been waiting for. Don't miss it in Neumi Week. Get your ticket now.
Grandes expertos en el mundo de la salud y de los negocios estarán en la semana Neumi. No te puedes perder este evento.
I can't wait to hear about all the new product releases.
Mam 10 biletów i zabieram ze sobą całą grupę.
Got my tickets to Neumi Week, have you?
Πήρα το εισιτήριό μου και είμαι έτοιμος για μια εκπληκτική εβδομάδα Neumi.
Estoy súper entusiasmada de aprender de los doctores del consejo médico.
4th birthday for Neumi and there's a new product release.
Tydzień Neumi, nie przegap go.
Saya tidak sabar mendengar produk baru dari Neumi dan saya telah membeli 10 tiket untuk grup saya.
Tydzień Neumi to będzie kopalnia wiedzy.
Don't miss out. Something exciting is coming your way.
Estoy súper emocionada porque ya viene la semana Neumi. No te la puedes perder.
I've got my Neumi Week ticket. Have you got yours?
Oh, yes, I got my ticket. And I want to know if you've got your Neumi ticket, don't type it here. Go to the Neumi public page right now. Find that video, type under, I have my ticket, and then spread the word. Now, the challenge I'm going to give you is if you would like to be famous, every one of you have an opportunity, as long as you're not representing more than one company, because we don't want that confusion. If you're just representing Neumi and that's clear and very laser focused, record a 6-second video in any language and send it through to me. And of course, corporate are putting these videos out all the time. So the invitation's been extended. We would love you to be in the video. 6 seconds, no more, a quick blurb in any language, send it through, tell me what it says if it's in another language so we know what we're posting. And then you too could be part of the promotion for Neumi Week, which is coming up. And there is so many exciting things that are going to blow your mind. So again, Dr. Michele, Juanita, thank you for today, and look forward to seeing everyone on the next event.